I want to be honest with you about something before we get into today's video. I'm a certified dementia care trainer. I teach health for a living. I own a home care agency. And for a long time, I was surviving on 5 hours of sleep at night, skipping breakfast, eating in my car, calling stress just part of this job. I knew what science said, I just wasn't doing it. So if you've ever learned something true and then quietly ignored it anyway, I'm not judging you. I'm standing right next to you. Last video, I told you about a man who sat across from me and said 6 words that I've never forgotten. I planned for everything, I just didn't plan for this. Now I know that's more than 6 words, so don't count my math. But the gist of the message is the same. The man planned for everything. He said, I just didn't plan for this. $405,000, his retirement, the life they built, gone in 3 years. That man can't go back and change what happened, but you can change what happens next. Here's what I want you to understand before we go any further. Most people think protecting their brain requires something complicated, something expensive, something they need a prescription for. They think it looks like a clinical trial or a specialist or a supplement that costs $80 a month. But you know what? It doesn't. The 9 habits I'm about to walk you through cost almost nothing. Most of them take less than 20 minutes. And every single one is backed by hard science. None of them requires a doctor's appointment to start. You can begin one of them before you go to bed tonight, right after this video even. Now here's the belief that's costing millions of people their brain health. Millions. People think that protecting their brain is something you do dramatically. It's not. They think you either overhaul your entire life, strict diet, daily gym sessions, every supplement on the shelf, or you do nothing. And because the complete overhaul feels impossible, most people choose to do nothing. And that's the trap. And the wellness industry knows it. Overwhelmed people buy things. They buy $40 omega-3 capsules when a can of sardines costs $2. They buy brain training apps when a 20-minute walk does more. They buy sleep supplements when the real answer is putting the phone down. Now, I'm not saying everything out there is a scam. What I am saying is the industry profits from your confusion. And the science does not say you need to do everything at once. The science says something much more powerful. It says small habits done consistently compound over time. Think about compound interest in a savings account. $100 doesn't feel like much in month 1, but you give it 10 years and it becomes something you can actually build on. Your brain works exactly the same way. A 20-minute walk today doesn't feel like much. A 20-minute walk every day for the next 10 years, that's the difference between a brain that's sharp at 70 and 75 and one that's struggling at 65. Now, the man I told you about didn't fail dramatically. He failed quietly, one small missed habit at a time. None of it was his fault. Nobody told him. But today we're going to fix that. Now, a quick word before we go into the 9. This whole campaign is presented by my family's Connecticut home care agency, A Touch of Love Home Care. Over 9 years of caring for families in their own homes. The same mission as this show. Now, habit 1, move your body. Your brain produces a chemical when you exercise that scientists have called miracle growth of your brain. Imagine that. The real name of this is BDNF. You don't have to remember it. What you have to remember is what it does. It grows new brain cells. It strengthens the connections between existing ones, and it actively fights decline. Most people assume is just aging. And you don't need to run a marathon to get it. A landmark study found that previously sedentary adults who walked just 40 minutes 3 times a week for 1 year showed measurable growth in their memory center in the brain. Not slow decline, actual growth in adults who had never been exercising before. 20 minutes of brisk walking a day is enough to trigger it. Walking counts, dancing counts, gardening counts. Your brain doesn't care what you call it, it just needs you to move. Now I want you to open your phone calendar right now, block 20 minutes tomorrow morning. Title it Walk Done. Habit 2, I want you to protect your sleep. Now, every night when you sleep, your brain runs a cleanup system. That's right, a cleanup system. I want you to think of it like a dishwasher that only runs at night. What it does is it flushes out the exact proteins that build up in Alzheimer's disease. When you consistently sleep less than 7 hours, that dishwasher doesn't finish its cycle. The waste builds up night after night, year after year. A 25-year study tracking nearly 8,000 people found that sleeping 6 hours or less at ages 50 and 60 was linked to a 22 to 37% higher risk of dementia. 7 hours is not a luxury, it's maintenance. Same bedtime every night, dark room, no screens for 30 minutes before bed. Set a bedtime alarm 1 hour before you want to be in bed tonight. When it goes off, start winding down. Habit number 3, hydrate first. Your brain is approximately 75% water, 75%. A drop in hydration of just 2% measurably impairs your ability to focus, plan, and make decisions. Most people walking around every day are mildly dehydrated. They chalk it up to brain fog, tiredness, or just getting older. Often, it's just dehydration. 16 ounces of water first thing in the morning, before the coffee, before the news, before the phone. 16 ounces of water. Start the engine before you rev it. Now, habit 4, feed your brain. Your brain is made up of what you feed it. That's not a metaphor, that's biology. 2 or more servings of berries per week, blueberries, strawberries, are associated with slowing cognitive aging by approximately 2.5 years. That's not a supplement, that's berries in your cereal a few times a week. Leafy greens, walnuts, fatty fish. You don't have to overhaul your entire kitchen. Start with one trade. Pull up your grocery list. Add 3 things: berries, walnuts, a piece of fish, done. Habit 5, use your non-dominant hand. Now this one sounds strange until you understand why it works. When you do things the same way every single day, your brain runs on autopilot. Autopilot is efficient, but it's not growth. When you switch hands, take a new route home, do a familiar task in an unfamiliar way, you force your brain to build new pathways. That's called neuroplasticity. It does not stop at 60 or 70 or 80. It only stops when you stop challenging yourself. Tonight, brush your teeth with your other hand, and your brain will notice. Now here's a quick check-in. We're 5 habits down, 4 to go. If this is reaching you, I want you to hit subscribe. We're giving a new brain health video every 2 days. Habit number 6, manage your stress. Now here's the part that hustle culture crowd is not going to like. Chronic stress floods your body with cortisol. In small doses, cortisol is useful. It sharpens your focus in an emergency. But when cortisol stays elevated week after week, month after month, it acts like acid on your brain cells. Studies show high cortisol is linked to measurable shrinkage in the memory center of the brain. Now, in people with high long-term stress, we're talking 10% or more volume loss. That's serious. But you don't need a week-long retreat to manage cortisol. 5 minutes of slow, deep breathing. 4 counts in, hold for 4, out for 6. This measurably lowers cortisol. A quiet walk, sitting outside without your phone. 5 minutes. Your brain doesn't need you to eliminate stress. It just needs a daily reset. Habit number 7, stay connected. You don't need deep friendships to protect your brain. Research on what scientists call weak ties. These are casual conversations with people you barely know. It could be a barista, a neighbor, someone in line at the pharmacy. This shows that these brief, low-stakes moments activate the same parts of your brain as a deep conversation with a close friend. So if deep friendships feel hard to build right now, start smaller than that. Make eye contact. Say good morning. Have a 2-minute conversation with a stranger. That counts. Any real human interaction is a deposit. So the next time you're at the store, look the cashier in the eye. Ask how their day's going. Wait for the actual answer. That's a deposit. Habit 8, take a power nap. This is one of my favorites. NASA studied this. A 26-minute nap improved alertness in pilots by 54%, performance by 34%. A short nap under 20 minutes gives your brain a chance to consolidate information without entering deep sleep. Set a timer, 20 minutes. You're not being lazy, you're resetting the system. Habit 9, learn something new every single day. Every time you learn something new, a word in another language, a chord on a guitar, how to cook something you've never made, you're making a deposit into your cognitive reserve. Now, the people who age with the sharpest minds are almost universally people who stayed curious. Not because curiosity is a personality trait that you either have or don't, because curiosity is a habit you either practice or you don't. Practice it today. 9 habits, not 9 dramatic lifestyle overhauls. 9 small decisions made consistently that compound into brain health. The brain health you'll be living with 10 and 20 years from now. And here's what I want to leave you with. The man from the last video, the one who planned for everything, well, he was not a passive person, nor was his wife. He worked hard, he saved, he planned. He just never got the roadmap for this specific thing. Now, you have it now. The question is not whether you can do all 9 perfectly. Nobody does them all perfectly. I certainly didn't when I started and don't do them all perfectly now. But the question is, which one will you start today? Right now. Look at the list. Find the one that feels most doable right now and start there. One deposit, then another. That's how a wealthy brain is built. Now, I want to make sure that you know that everything in this video is for educational purposes only. This is not medical advice. If you're experiencing memory changes or anything that concerns you, use what you learn here to have a better conversation with your doctor. I put together a free guide. It's called 10 Simple Things You Can Do This Week to Protect Your Brain. I'm putting a link down below in the description. I want you to download it tonight. Next up, we're going inside your sleeping brain and showing you what actually happens while you rest. That one drops in 48 hours. I want you to know we don't age quietly. We age wealthily. See you in 48 hours. Protect your brain, people.